What's in a name that which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet, wrote Shakespeare in Romeo and Juliet. However, people in power worldwide have often resorted to renaming towns, cities, states, and even entire countries to reshape their very identity and essence. In post colonial countries, these name changes are often linked to shedding the colonial legacy. So on September 13, when Union Minister Amit Shah announced the renaming of Port Blair, the capital of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, to Sri Vijaya Puram, he echoed a familiar narrative that it was done to fulfill Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision to free the nation from colonial imprints. While the earlier names had a colonial legacy, Sri Vijayapuram symbolizes the victory achieved in our freedom struggle and Andaman and Nicobar Islands' unique role in it. However, a broader narrative seems to be at play here. Beyond just erasing colonial history, Sri Vijayapuram is located in the Bay of Bengal, approximately 1,200 kilometers southeast of mainland India. The former name Port Blair was derived from Captain Archibald Blair, a naval officer with the East India Company who surveyed the Andamans in the late 1780s. In 1789, the Government of Bengal established a penal colony of Chatham Island in the southeast bay of Great Andaman, naming it Port Blair in honor of the naval surveyor. However, due to high mortality rates from diseases, the colony was abandoned in 1796. The British returned to the islands in the 1850s, particularly after the Indian Rebellion of 1857, to establish a secure prison location for political prisoners. Between 1896 and 1906, the British built the infamous Cellular Jail, also known as Kalapani, in Port Blair. The prison was called Cellular Jail because prisoners were confined in separate solitary cells, as described in Hindutva Idealogue V.D. Savarkar's book, The Story of My Transportation for Life. The prisoners endured brutal treatment and hard labor during their incarceration. Notably, Savarkar was one of the most prominent political prisoners held in the Cellular Jail by the Britishers. During World War II, the Japanese occupied the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. In December 1943, formal control of the islands was passed to Subhash Chandra Bose, Azad Hind government. Although the Japanese retained effective control, Bose visited Port Blair to raise the Indian National Army's tricolour flag and even suggested renaming the Andaman and Nicobar Islands during the visit, something Prime Minister Narendra Modi referred to in 2018 while renaming the three islands in the archipelago. During the renaming event, Ross Island became Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Dweep, Neil Island became Shahi Dweep, and Havelock Island became Swaraj Dweep. In a tweet announcing the renaming of Port Blair, Amit Shah also referred Bose. Many view these efforts as part of the broader Hindutva attempt to appropriate Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose's legacy. Amit Shah also referenced Savarkar in the tweet announcing the name change. Savarkar's legacy remains highly controversial in contemporary India, with Hindutva proponents portraying him as a brave nationalist while opponents challenge this view. Notably, Modi is not the first BJP Prime Minister to honour Savarkar through renaming in the Andamans. In 2002, during A.B. Vajpayee's government, Port Blair Airport was renamed Veer Savarkar International Airport. Now, as Port Blair itself is being renamed, the Modi government is shaping a new identity for strategically important Andaman and Nicobar Islands, arguably aligning with Savarkar's vision from nearly 100 years ago. In his memoir about his time in the Cellular Jail, Savarkar reflects on the day he arrived in the Andaman Islands when he first envisioned an independent India controlling and fortifying the archipelago for his defense. Landing on the pier, other prisoners were at once marched in line up the steep climb under the strict escort of regulars and warders from the prison beyond. I alone was kept waiting on the wharf and in charge of European officers, thus segregated from the rest. I sat there and it suddenly struck me that the islands were so located in the Bay of Bengal that they constituted the bastion of the naval fortification of India from the east. As such, they had an abiding importance in future defense of our country, he wrote. While India has long viewed the Andaman and Nicobar Islands as a strategic asset, it is under the Modi regime that rapid military buildup has been initiated. With China's unprecedented rise and growth assertiveness, the government has taken major steps to upgrade military infrastructure. This includes modernizing airfields to support larger, more advanced aircraft, enhancing logistics and storage capacities, improving troop accommodations, establishing strong surveillance systems, and bolstering communication channels. The Indian Air Force has stationed Sukhoi Su-30 MKI and Jaguar maritime fighter jets on the islands, while the Indian Navy operates Poseidon P-81 submarine hunters from these bases. Defense experts note that the expansion of military infrastructure is designed to support the permanent deployment of these assets, ensuring India maintains a strong and sustained presence in the region. These developments align with India's new approach to maritime power protection. The Chola king historically used the Andaman and Nicobar Islands to project their power eastward. They called the islands Manakavaram, or the Great Naked Land, and used them as a strategic base for expeditions against the Srivijaya Empire of Indonesia. Amit Shah referenced this in his tweet, but this mention of the Cholas is not just a historical nod, it also ties into the BJP and RSS strategy in Tamil Nadu to counter Dravidian politics. The Hindutva forces began building a narrative around Chola history to counter Dravidian politics as early as 2014. The installation of the Sengol, a symbol of the Chola period, in the parliament by Prime Minister Modi in an elaborate ceremony last year has also been interpreted by the opposition as part of the BJP's broader political plan for Tamil Nadu. In conclusion, while the government frames the renaming as part of shedding colonial legacy, it also reflects the ideological and political positioning of the ruling party at the center.